Hey guys, Karma Sculpting back again once again, and this week's video is part 2 of the Mythical Meetup series where we're making Mew. First things first, I rolled out a ball about the size of what I wanted its head to be and then pinched out its snout. With that done, it was on to the hardest part of the entire project, its eyes. Adding the brow and everything after was very easy, but getting the eyes just the right shape is always such a pain. Really hoping I'll get better at this as I go. Look, I even gave him a little mouth that you'll never see again. After hardening the head in the oven, I stuck in a little bit more clay to give his eyeballs a little more shape. There is a very fine line between cute big eyes and bulging eyes. Luckily for me, it only took 2 tries. Want to know a fun fact about Mew? It does not have very defined ears. These things are practically little horns. For his body, I went with a teardrop shape similar to the Whooper video last week. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. After a quick hardening in the oven, I went ahead and threw his thighs on as well. These are just a couple of oval shapes that you blend in on its lower body. For Mew's oversized toes, I rolled out a small oval and pressed it into shape, leaving one side of the foot a little wider than the other. That thicker side was then cut into 3s for his toes. Then, nice and slowly, I took my time and shaped it out with my silicone tools. All that was left was his stubby little ankles. I rolled out 2 itty bitty ovals, attached them to the feet, and then attached said feet to the body. Now if you're following along trying to do each and every step, friendly reminder, take your time. Just like the feet, I rolled out a couple of ovals and then pinched off the end for his itty bitty fingers. Overall, Mew might be one of the simplest Pokemon that I have made of clay so far. The very last detail was the tail. So I had to drill a small hole in its rear. And to be honest, I made Mew this size specifically so I could use this wire. It was the absolute perfect size so that I didn't have to make it out of clay and it would remain sturdy and safe. The only issue I really had with it was the fact that clay does not like to stick to it very well. Does anybody know if there's a bonding agent I can use that would work really well with clay and not mess it up? If so, please leave that answer down in the comments for me, would you? I'd look it up myself, but comments are good for the algorithm, you know? As usual with lighter colored Pokemon, I gave it a nice white base. If I hadn't, that crappy pink paint I decided to use would not have covered the gray. Look at that, it's so bright it barely wanted to show up on camera. And when I say this pink paint was crappy, I don't know if it was just bad manufacturing or what, because every other paint of this brand that I use does not come out like this. It dried way too quickly as I was brushing it, leaving a lot of brush strokes. By comparison, these eyes came out nearly perfect. Isn't it cute? And with that is another Pokemon down. Well, almost. There are 2 different sets of glamour shots this time around. But as for Mew by itself, how do you think they turned out? From everything I've ever seen about Mew in like the anime and the very first movie, it just always came off like it was a very curious creature, so I tried to encapsulate that in the design. The very last step I took right here is attaching Mew to the base I made a couple weeks ago. This is where it and several other mythicals will meet up, just for a little playtime, you know? As for the rest of the mythicals that I've decided on for the month of September, there's going to be one for Jirachi, there's going to be one for Celebi, and finally one for Manaphy. Now, in which order I do them is completely up to you. If nobody gives me a comment down below with a choice, it's probably going to be Celebi next week. And as a side note, before the video ends, the reason a lot of these videos here are going to be a little shorter, it is my birthday month and I kinda want to take it a little easy. While I enjoy making each and every one of these projects with all my heart, doing it week after week for videos can sometimes wear you down a little bit. But that's enough rambling from me. See you next week. Karma and Mew, out.